Progressive aspect. With progressive aspect, the focus is principally on the duration of the event. It may therefore be used to indicate that something is ongoing, unfinished, or that it is extended but temporary. It may indicate that something is, was, or will be already in progress when something else happens or happened. In other words, the focus is not on the starting or finishing point of an event, but on the event as seen from its center. Progressive aspect involves the use of auxiliary be and the ing form of a lexical verb. Examples of progressive aspect. Example: form, type of duration. On the telephone. It's about 2:30 and I am approaching Lyon. Form, present progressive. Type of duration, an ongoing process at the moment of speaking. MP, Member of Parliament. He has been doing some research for an MP for about a year. Form, present perfect progressive. Type of duration, continuing from a year ago till now and possibly into the future. My knees were shaking. Form, past progressive. Type of duration, an ongoing process at the point in the past the speaker is referring to. That had been going on since September. Form, past perfect progressive. Type of duration, an ongoing process at the point in the past and the speaker is referring to. An ongoing process at the point in the past the speaker is referring to. This had been going on since September. Past perfect progressive. Continuing from September till the moment in the past the speaker is talking about. I'll be working when you get home. Will or shall plus progressive, often called future progressive. Type of duration. Will be an ongoing process at the point in the future the speaker is referring to. Will have been living here 12 years soon. Will or shall plus perfect progressive, often called future perfect progressive. Type of duration. Will continue from 12 years before till the point in the future referred to, soon. It must have been going on for years. Model perfect progressive. An ongoing process probably occurring over a period of time leading up to now or up to a point in the past. Some of the sentences in the table above are best understood in contrast with possible meanings of their simple form equivalents. He has done some research for an MP for about a year. This sees the action more as a completed event and could, but not necessarily mean the action is finished. My knees shook. This could mean my knees shook for a defined period of time, for example, a few seconds, then stopped. I'll work when you get home. This could mean I'll start work when you get home. The infinitive form of the progressive following verbs such as hope, intend, like, seem, want, and other structures requiring an infinitive is formed with to be plus ing form of the verb. For example, he just seemed to be doing the same thing we were doing. I don't want to be walking around on my own at nights. It's a peculiar essay to be doing at university. I would have thought. The present progressive. The present progressive is formed with the present tense forms of be plus ing form of a lexical verb. The present progressive, declarative and interrogative forms. I am doing it right, informal. Declarative, affirmative. I am not doing it right, informal. Negative. Am I doing it right? Interrogative, affirmative. Aren't I doing it right? Negative, informal. I am doing it right. More formal. Declarative, affirmative. I am not doing it right. Negative, more formal. Am I not doing it right? Negative, more formal. You are working on Friday. Informal, declarative, affirmative. You are working on Friday. More formal, declarative, affirmative. I am not doing it right. More formal, negative. Am I not doing it right? More formal, negative. You are working on Friday. Declarative, affirmative, but informal. You are working on Friday. More formal. Declarative, affirmative. We are working on Friday. They are working on Friday. Informal, declarative, affirmative. You are working on Friday. More formal, declarative, affirmative. We are working on Friday. More formal, declarative, affirmative. They are working on Friday. More formal, declarative, affirmative, more formal. We are not working on Friday. Informal. You are not working on Friday. Informal. We are not working on Friday. Informal. They are not working on Friday. Informal. We aren't working on Friday. Informal. They aren't working on Friday. Informal. We aren't working on Friday. Informal. You aren't working on Friday. Informal. But negative. You are not working on Friday. More formal. Negative. We are not working on Friday. More formal. Negative. You are not working on Friday. Negative, more formal. Are you working on Friday? Interrogative, affirmative. Are we working on Friday? Interrogative, affirmative. Are they working on Friday? Interrogative, affirmative. Aren't you working on Friday? Informal, negative. Aren't we working on Friday? Informal, negative. Aren't they working on Friday? Informal, negative. Are you not working on Friday? More formal, negative. Are we not working on Friday? More formal, negative. Are they not working on Friday? More formal, negative. You are not working on Friday. More formal, negative. We are not working on Friday. More formal, negative. They are not working on Friday. More formal, negative. He's working today. Informal, declarative, affirmative. He is working today. Informal, declarative, affirmative. She is working today. Informal, declarative, affirmative. One is working today. Informal, declarative, affirmative. It's working today. Informal, declarative, affirmative. He is working today. More formal, declarative, affirmative. She is working today. More formal, declarative, affirmative. It is working today. More formal, declarative, affirmative. One is working today. More formal, declarative, affirmative. He is not working today. Informal, negative. She is not working today. Informal, negative, negative. It is not working today. Informal, negative. One is not working today. Informal, negative. He isn't working today. Informal, negative. She isn't working today. Informal, negative. It isn't working today. Informal, negative. One isn't working today. Informal, negative. He is not working today. More formal, negative. She is not working today. More formal, negative. It is not working today. More formal, negative. One is not working today. More formal, negative. Is he working today? Interrogative, affirmative. Is she working today? Interrogative, affirmative. Is it working today? Interrogative, affirmative. Is one working today? Interrogative, affirmative. Isn't he working today? Informal, negative. Isn't he working today? Informal negative. Isn't she working today? Informal negative. Isn't it working today? Negative. Informal. Isn't it working today? Informal negative. Isn't one working today? Informal negative. Is he not working today? More formal negative. Is she not working today? More formal negative. Is it not working today? More formal negative. Is it not working today? More formal negative. Is one not working today? More formal negative. The past progressive. The past progressive is formed with was or were plus ing form of a lexical verb. For example, the wind was blowing from the north. Were you expecting someone? Declarative and interrogative forms of the past progressive. The past progressive, declarative, and interrogative forms. He was running late. Declarative, affirmative. I was running late. Declarative, affirmative. She was running late. Declarative, affirmative. It was running late. Declarative, affirmative. One was running late. Declarative, affirmative. I wasn't running late. Negative, informal. He wasn't running late. Informal, negative. She wasn't running late. Negative, informal. It wasn't running late. Informal, negative. One wasn't running late. Informal, negative. It wasn't running late. Negative, informal. He wasn't running late. Informal, negative. I wasn't running late. Informal, negative. I was not running late. More formal, negative. He was not running late. Negative, more formal. It was not running late. More formal, negative. One was not running late. More formal, negative. I was not running late. More formal, negative. He was not running late. More formal, negative. It was not running late. More formal, negative. Was I running late? Interrogative, affirmative. Was he running late? Interrogative, affirmative. Was it running late? Interrogative, affirmative. Was one running late? Interrogative, affirmative. Wasn't I running late? Informal, negative. Wasn't he running late? Informal, negative. Was it running late? Informal, negative. Wasn't I running late? Informal, negative. Wasn't he running late? Informal, negative. Wasn't she running late? Informal, negative. Wasn't it running late? Informal, negative. Was I not running late? More formal, negative. Was he not running late? More formal, negative. Was she not running late? Negative, more formal. Was it not running late? Negative, more formal. Was one not running late? More formal, negative. Was it not running late? More formal, negative. Was she not running late? More formal, negative. Was he not running late? More formal, negative. You were sleeping. Informal, declarative affirmative. We were sleeping, informal, declarative affirmative. They were sleeping, informal, declarative affirmative. You were sleeping, informal, negative. You were sleeping, informal, negative. You weren't sleeping, informal, negative. We weren't sleeping, informal, negative. They weren't sleeping, informal, negative. You weren't sleeping, informal, negative. We weren't sleeping, informal, negative. They weren't sleeping, informal, negative. You were not sleeping, more formal, negative. You were not sleeping, more formal, negative. We were not sleeping, more formal, negative. They were not sleeping, more formal, negative. Are you sleeping, interrogative, affirmative. Are we sleeping, interrogative, affirmative. Are they sleeping, interrogative, affirmative. Aren't you sleeping, informal, negative. Aren't we sleeping, informal, negative. Aren't they sleeping, informal, negative. Aren't you sleeping, informal, negative. Aren't we sleeping, informal, negative. Aren't they sleeping, informal, negative. Are we not sleeping, more formal, negative. Are you not sleeping, informal, more formal, negative. Are we not sleeping, more formal, negative. Are they not sleeping, more formal, negative. You were not sleeping, more formal, negative. We were not sleeping, more formal, negative. They are not sleeping, more formal, negative. The future progressive. Progressive references to the future are formed with will or shall plus be plus ing form of the lexical verb. Interrogative forms of the future progressive. The future progressive, declarative, and interrogatives. I'll be waiting at the station, informal, declarative, affirmative. I will be waiting at the station, more formal. I won't be waiting at the station, informal, negative. I will not be waiting at the station, more formal, negative. Will I be waiting at the station, interrogative, affirmative. Won't I be waiting at the station, informal, negative. Will I not be waiting at the station, more formal, negative. Will not I be waiting at the station, very formal and now considered archaic, negative. I shall be minding the children, more formal, negative. We shall be minding the children, more formal, declarative, affirmative. I shall be minding the children, declarative, affirmative. We shall be minding the children, declarative, affirmative. They shall be minding the children, more formal, declarative, affirmative. We shall be minding the children, more formal, declarative, affirmative. I shan't be minding the children, informal, negative. We shan't be minding the children, informal, negative. I shall not be minding the children, more formal, negative. We shall not be minding the children, more formal negative. Shall I be minding the children? Interrogative affirmative. Shall we be minding the children? Interrogative affirmative. Shan't I be minding the children? Informal. Shan't we be minding the children? Informal. Negative informal. Shan't I be minding the children? Informal negative. Shan't we be minding the children? Informal negative. Shan't I be minding the children? Informal negative. Shall not I be minding the children? More formal negative. Shall we not be minding the children? More formal negative. Shall not I be minding the children? Very formal and now considered archaic negative. Shall not we be minding the children? Very formal and now considered archaic negative. Where there is a choice between will and shall, for example, with first person pronouns, the forms with shall are more formal than those with will.